Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the first video of the channel. Well, it's the first official video. You guys saw the introductory. Hopefully, if you didn't, go ahead and check it out. It's only 15 seconds. What do you have to lose? I thought for the first video, because I have a lot of LGBTQ members, and if you're against that stuff, please get away from me right now. Unless you're willing to be convinced otherwise, why you're wrong and why everything's okay and everybody should be accepted and not judged. Obviously, that's excluding certain groups. So, okay, sorry that I'm not editing, by the way. I am gonna get the hang of that. One of my best friends is a really good editor, and he produces music and whatnot, so he's gonna get me through this. But until otherwise, y'all are gonna have to just deal with raw Sydney, given the best emotions that she can, just through a screen. And I also kind of barely know where to look. Like, I know to look there because the camera is there on my phone, but I want to look at myself, so I make sure that I'm giving y'all the right message. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, I don't have an intro yet or anything like that, so don't get on my head, please. I'm just gonna start with, welcome to the channel. I hope you guys came from TikTok. If not, welcome, welcome. It's great to meet you. Maybe somebody from TikTok sent you, maybe, I don't know, okay. So, let's talk about acceptance first and foremost. It doesn't matter if you're not out of the closet yet. You're not going to know who's going to accept you, and that's fine. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be intimidated. We don't know who people are behind closed doors. We don't know if they're putting on some sort of front just because people are around, and that's very hard to tell. It's very, very hard to read people, and I don't mean to reiterate and sound redundant, but it's okay to be young, and it's okay to be confused, and it's okay to explore, okay, guys? You guys are so worried about the, am I bisexual? Am I pansexual? Am I this? Am I that? Just go explore. Don't put a label on it yet. Yeah, there's bi-curious or, you know, pansploration, but why are you feeling so much pressure? This coming out is about you. It's about finding yourself. So if you don't find yourself, how are you going to question what's going on around you or who these other people are? Yes, you can find out from other experiences, and yes, you can ask me about my stories and whatnot, but you have to find out most of this stuff for yourself. It's a crazy ride, and yes, Google can help you with a lot of that. When I was growing up, YouTube and Google were my best friends in the deep, dark middle of the night when nobody could find me. My sister was asleep on the top bunk and my brother was sleeping sound in his room. My parents stopped yelling at me and I was like, you know what? Let's get jiggy on YouTube. I mean, my parents are cool, but life is tough. You gotta go to work every day, 9 hours a day, and then freaking come home to some family that you barely even wanted. I mean, come on now. Come on now, that's just a recipe for distaste. Anyways, let's get into the story time because I'm done rambling, but you guys kind of get the vibes of how I am. You kind of understand how things are going, and excuse the moisture on my head. It's getting warm in here, so take off all your clothes. I know I can't sing, I'm sorry, but let's get into it. So, I think this is gonna be the story of how I told my parents I was bisexual, and by was, I mean am and is. I am in a heterosexual relationship that does not discredit any of my bisexuality. My ratio for dating has been about 35-65, 35 being female, 65 being males. Dating officially, I mean, I'm not talking about talking stages. Feelings for people, it'd be like 75-25 feelings for males and feelings for females for 25%. That being said, I'm very picky with females. I have a specific type for females. I find all women beautiful. Let me get that clear. And I wouldn't discriminate against a woman because of the way she acted or anything. I just have a specific type because I feel like it's like a lock and key type of thing. And I will make a video about soulmates and twin flames and in-depth stuff like that because I did that on TikTok and I want to bring all my TikTok stuff to here. But because I can't reference all of that right now because I'm trying to keep this video concise, I don't know if you guys have the attention span for all of what I'm putting down, but hopefully you're down to stay for the ride. So honestly, I feel like everybody has that lock and key. They have that other person, and whether you find that other person in this lifetime or not, that's up to you. And if you're down for the search and if you're okay with maybe not finding them, but the majority of people settle and have to deal with, you know, the repercussions of being with somebody they weren't completely devoted to. You know, that's when cheating and lying and manipulation comes into play, and that's when lack of trust enters relationships. And this isn't supposed to be a video about relationships, but LGBTQ people need to understand their relationships are just as important as hetero ones. Although minorly represented, they're just as important. And yes, I do understand that the media is starting to show more homo interactions on screen. I get that. We are getting a lot more representation like Love Simon and just more open-minded movies. But when people do argue that it is a lot at once, it's because it's this abrupt change, and progressive is always the way. I'm never going to argue against that. But people do need time to get used to and get settled in. It's not just a flip of the switch unless you're one of these minority groups struggling. You know what I'm saying? So, not to get off topic, but let me get back into things. And excuse me for moving my hair a lot. It's warm in here, as I told you guys. And obviously you don't want me to turn off the light, because then you can't see me. Would y'all like this better? This is my computer screen. So I'm doing some research. Yeah, and by the way, guys, I put all my research in this notebook and whatnot. So I'm just keeping notes so I can keep you guys informed. I'm keeping notes so I can keep myself informed. I'm never trying to misinform y'all. So if I do, I will always double back and I will fix it. With that being said, let's get a little bit more into the video. This is just a little introductory to the LGBTQ group and whatnot, because I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable in their own skin yet, whether you're non-binary, female, male, transgender, you know, whatever. You're getting to know yourself. And, you know, how I told my dad, I told him first, because I feel like you should always go to the more trusting parent first. And more trusting, I mean the one you are more comfortable with, you know what I'm saying? Don't go picking the parent who you know is gonna, you know, scrutinize you or antagonize you or just make you feel like lesser than for being different. And being different is becoming the norm. So let's laugh about that irony for real quick. Situational. Anyways, let's get back to the tea. So I walked up to my dad one day, and my dad and I have always been tight. I played many sports growing up. He took me from A to B. We were always in the car together. We have the same type of humor. We have the same type of laugh. We have the same nose. That man and I are close AF. My mom and I were a little bit more distant because we're more business partners rather than like mother and daughter, but we still have our good vibes. So telling her I was more nervous because she's not as accepting, but that's just because she had a, I'm not going to say a more traditional family than my dad, but she just had a different upbringing, and she was just a different person. My dad was this open-minded guy who was just always willing to tell jokes and make people laugh and just, you know, put a smile on people's faces. My mom was more serious, and she was more like, let's get business done, and that's why they work so well together, because opposites do attract. You want what somebody can give you that you can't get for yourself because of the lack of motivation, lack of that trait, whatever the case may be. So I went to my dad one day. He was just chilling watching TV, and I was like, Dad, you know, like, I have something to tell you. And I can't remember if he brought it up about, like, hey, are you maybe just gay or whatever, or if I was like, hey, Dad, I'm actually trying to admit something to you. But I remember telling my siblings first, obviously. If you haven't told your siblings yet, I don't really know how strong of a bond you have with them. These are the people you grow up with, basically the people who are a part of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody's going to be a Siamese twin, it's going to be your siblings without actually being attached. So if you're having trouble telling your siblings, then maybe you need to focus on just strengthening that bond with them. That's just my advice to you. My brother, who's 3 years older than me, and I have always been close. We've been tight since we were born, but I've always been more attached to him than anybody else, and I do believe he's one of my soulmates, because soulmates can be platonic, family, whatever, relationships, whatever. It's just a connection. That's a tight bond. And then, what was I making a list about? Why did I just lose my train of thought? That's hilarious. I was talking about my brother. I can't even pause this video to edit it or anything because I don't know how to do that yet. So anyway, yeah, telling your siblings. Anyway, so my sister, her and I are not close at all. Like, we do not like each other. She's doing a little too much right now, so her and our relationship is strained. But, you know, I'm trying to work through it with her, but she's just a whole other ball game. So I don't really tell her things. I try to keep her out of things. But she came out to me when we were younger, so I was okay with telling her because I understood she knew what I was going through. So that was a special scenario. My eldest brother, who is 10 years older than me, I had no problem telling him because he and I just share this sacred bond of, hey, we're really a large age apart, but we understand what the other went through growing up, so we can just relate to that level. And then when we turn up at the family functions, we just laugh about that stuff. We're able to tell jokes easily. Because he's just like my dad, you know what I'm saying? And when I was growing up, I just wanted to be one of the boys. One of the reasons I knew that I was bisexual, because I wanted to be one of the boys so bad. I was like, screw being a tomboy. I might as well have grown a freaking PP girl, because why be a woman? Like, women have so many struggles. I was like, if I just, you know, gain a little weight, if I put on a little muscle, nobody's gonna notice. But then, you know, I stopped seeing that overeating was not the proper way to handle your mechanism. So once you learn to freely express yourself, you should be putting off all that negative energy, whether that's acne, whether that's, you know, overweight, or extra weight, I should say. things just tend to leave you once you make peace with them. You know what I'm saying? Negative things. So with that being said, he asked me, and I'm sorry that I'm getting so off topic, but I'm trying to give y'all a wide spectrum, right? So I was like, yeah, Dad, honestly, that's just what I've always thought. I had questions about it when I was younger, and I took to the internet to find them, but I was just as confused as you are now. It was completely new to me, and I had to learn it for myself, and I'm totally down to answer your questions. I'm totally down to help you, and I want to make sure you understand as much as I understand that this wasn't a choice. This is just who I am. It's just like the fact that I'm black. It's just like the fact that I have a big nose. It's just like the fact that I'm loud. It's a part of me. It's my soul. So if you can't handle that, I didn't tell him this because my dad's an excellent person, so I didn't need to say this. It was implied that if you can't handle that, you can't handle me. And I'm a very take it all or leave it type of person, so if you're giving me negative vibes, I just can't deal with that. With that being said, my dad was just like, hey, honestly, I understand, and excuse the lighting. My dad was like, I understand if I was gay, and excuse my ratchet setup. He was like, if I was gay, honestly, Sydney, I would have married my best friend, who I know, that's his, excuse me, fixing the contrast. His best friend, he's known since like friggin' elementary school or whatever, and we all have those friends who are super tightly bonded with us. So for him to say that, he understood. He was like, it's not a choice of who you love, it's just, are you attracted to that genitalia? And I told him straight up, I'm not attracted to the genitalia. I'm attracted to the soul. I'm attracted to the person, the mass. I want every part of that person, whether that genitalia be a PP or a VV or a whatever or a nothing. I want your brain, I want your heart and your soul. The other stuff, we can figure that out along the way. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that stuff. And I realize I sound all hippy-dippy with my long braids because those of you who know me know I keep my hair short. I'm about to cut this bad boy off anyway. With that being said, my dad was extremely okay with it. He was like, hey, I love you all the same. I'm just glad that you're happy. Whoever you end up marrying, boy or girl, just know I support, whatever, whatever. And that was just a huge weight off my shoulders because although I knew in the undertone of my heart that he would be accepting, just hearing him say it just cleared all the doubt I had in my mind. And if you guys have that parent that you kind of trust but you're a little iffy about it, your parents truly do want the best for you and love you in most scenarios. So please just try to be open with them. Try to be forthcoming with that information. Try to, you know, set up the table of, hey, you can ask questions. I'm confused too. We can learn this along the way. Because they're just scared and they're intimidated of things they don't know. And we've learned that with the over Gen Z generation and the boomers. So, you know what I'm saying? We just have to be careful with them because they're a little bit more fragile. We've handled what they've handled, I guess. I don't want to say we've handled more, but we've dealt with a more technologically advanced age, which they had to slowly integrate into. We were born into it, so it was more natural for us. Although it's still shunned upon, and there's issue with religion and whatnot, just be true to yourself always, okay? And whether you make it out of this world early or late, as long as you are true to yourself, your life will have meaning, your life will have purpose. With that being said, when I told my mother, she told me that she kind of had a sense. I had been making extremely overt jokes about it. I even told my dad, hey, don't tell mom because, you know, she needs to hear it from me. She's going to feel some type of way if she hears it from you. The communication would be, you know, broken at that point, and I don't want to break our communication line, so let me tell her. So I kind of rushed it at that point, but after telling my dad, I felt way more confident in telling her, especially since all my siblings knew as well. And at school and at work, I am the same person. I am myself. I am natural me. It was just telling people at home was different because they had never asked that question, and you don't need to come out as straight, so they just assume, you know what I'm saying? But my aunt and my mom's side of the family, they were all like, yeah, we kind of knew because you act like a boy and you're always hanging out with the boys and, you know, your deep voice and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, with that being said, I'm glad you knew because that makes this a lot more... that makes this a lot less intimidating to have this conversation with you guys. And although my mom is the more business savvy person, she still did want the best for me. And you guys need to understand, like I said previously in the video, your parents mostly just want the best for you. That can't be in every situation because we have a cruel world and a cruel system out here. But honestly, they just want to know what's going on. Because if they don't know what's going on, then they can't help. And if they don't know what's going on and they are in a place to harm you, if they find out what's going on, please do not tell them. Please do not come out to your parents if you know they're not accepting, if you know they're going to put you in danger. I do not advocate for that. Please stay in the closet if it's for your best interest and safety. But I know that was bothering a few of you because it was bothering me. If you can, come out of the closet, because it's one of the best things I've ever done, and it's made me feel more myself than anything I've ever done. Seriously. So with that being said, this supposed to be 10-minute video, now 15 minutes and ongoing. That's gonna be all I have for you guys right now. I don't know for today. I might record another video right after this. Depends on how y'all like the me just talking style rather than sitting down and editing it. I know TikTok was a little bit more choppy, but here I am. Here is me, and you know, we can do the advice thing and whatnot. I am going to need to start investing into this YouTube thing, so I might have to open up maybe GoFundMe's or do like a Cash App thing, but I'm looking to give you guys services for like $1 or like $2, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you can come to me for advice or something and it's like $1, you know? Something like that. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to strategize. Like I said, it's all in the journal. But with that being said, I hope you guys have an excellent day. Please remember to think positive, and is what you're saying necessary, educational, factual, or positive? Because if not, why are you talking? You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'll catch you guys.